I still remember the time, this was probably 10, 12 years ago, where a woman who'd been attending our Squadron of Sisters ministry for quite a few years already, 3 or 4 years, she came up to me after one of the meetings and said, it suddenly dawned on me as I was sitting here that I've been attending all these years and it's been really good stuff that you guys have been teaching us from the Bible. It suddenly dawned on me that I should actually do the things that God's words instructs us to do. I was kind of blown away, like, doesn't everyone just think about applying it? But I think sometimes we just go to church on Sunday, we listen to the preacher, and we're like, yeah, that was a really good message. And then we put it out of our mind and we go on with our day and we don't apply anything that we've learned. And here's what I know. We're supposed to be doers of the word. In fact, James 1:22 says it this way. It says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. I know, light bulb moment. But isn't it true that we sometimes listen to great preaching? You might be listening to a podcast someone's doing or whatever, and you're like, that's so good. And then you just walk away and you don't apply it. I wonder how our relationships would be absolutely transformed, how there might be healing in fractured relationships or just healthier relationships if we actually started applying the specific scriptures that God gives us about how to do relationships right. He created human beings, so I'm pretty sure he has some wisdom there and how to do healthy relationships, how to address issues in relationships. Let me just read you one section of scripture that I think is one of the best that just sort of summarizes so many key points about how to do relationships right. And these are God's instructions. Remember, he's the one that knows. It's found in Colossians 3, starting at verse 12. I'm reading from the Amplified translation. It says this, and before I start reading, remember, you're going to seek to apply what you're learning here. Don't just be a listener, be a doer. Here's what it says in Colossians 3, starting at verse 12. So, as God's own chosen people, who are holy, set apart, sanctified for his purpose, and well beloved by God himself, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, which has the power to endure whatever injustice or unpleasantness comes with a good temper, bearing graciously with one another, and willingly forgiving each other if one has a cause for complaint against another, just as the Lord has forgiven you, you also should forgive. If we would just be doers of those instructions instead of just listeners, how would our relationships be absolutely transformed? It's a challenge I've given to you, but I'm challenging myself as well. Let's be doers of the word and reap tremendous results.